Welcome to the second vlog for episode 21 of the One Day in SoCal podcast. Today, we are at the Rancho Cucamonga Metrolink station for SoCal Adventure downtown. We're going to downtown LA, crossing under the 2 tracks here, making my way up to track 1. And we'll be off. Here we are at track 1 at the Rancho Cucamonga station. We're looking westbound. And as you can see, as you may be able to see, here comes a Metrolink train. Metrolink is the regional commuting train that we have here in Southern California. Much like Metra in Chicago, or perhaps Caltrain in San Francisco, Long Island Railroad in New York, or Sunrail in Florida, I believe it's called. So here comes our train. This train's going to take us all the way to Los Angeles Union Station in downtown Los Angeles, where our SoCal adventure is today. Now, Metrolink has been upgrading a lot of their cars to a newer train set, so to speak. So let's see what's running today. It looks like an older diesel engine.
Service to LA Union Station will arrive shortly on
maybe
track
not.
1.
Nope, it's the new one. Now, I don't like the new cars, so we're going to ride in the classic.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome aboard Metrolink 321. Service to Los Angeles. Doors and closing mode. Please stand clear. Upland. Next stop.
We'll talk a little bit more about the Gold Line and LA Metro. But you can see LA Metro is expanding as far as Pomona so far. This is the construction for LA Metro's Gold Line, which should go to, I believe it's going to end in Laverne, at least for now. Normally this train would be just full to the brim with people going to LA, commuting from the Inland Empire to LA. But because we're between Christmas and New Year's, most people are off work. So most of the people on board today are day trippers, going to museums, maybe special events, just taking day trips out with their family. Maybe they're going to downtown, some of the places we're going to go, maybe we'll see some of them. Maybe they're going to go from downtown LA, hit the metro, head out to other places in LA. The beach, Long Beach, California Science Center, Natural History Museum, art museums. But today is Wednesday. Normally this train would be completely full of people. Just every seat taken. This is more of what it looks like if you ride Metrolink on a weekend, Saturday or Sunday, or a holiday. Largely empty.
Stops are free. Cal State LA is our next stop.
So we just departed El Monte. Got 2 more stops to downtown LA. Next one, as you just heard, was Cal State LA. And after that, the final stop on the line will be downtown LA, LA Union Station. So we're approaching one of my favorite spots on the San Bernardino line, where we run against right between the 10 freeway, right in the middle. The train tracks are set up, and I usually like to watch us. We race all the cars. Usually we win, unless somebody's really speeding. But it's actually a childhood memory of mine. First time I rode Metrolink, I remember that scene where we're just racing all the cars in the middle of the freeway, in between the 10 freeway on both sides, through the tunnel. So we're now in the middle of the freeway. As we go higher, you'll see the westbound 10. Let's get some speed. They have a much higher speed limit on the train tracks here in this section. On that note, speaking of Metrolink, there's Metrolink, as I explained earlier, is the regional rail service for Southern California, serving as far as San Diego and as far north as Lancaster, as far east as Riverside, Orange County, of course. So I like to think one reason they put this rail here between the freeways to show all the commuters just how much faster the journey could be if you take the train as opposed to all the traffic. Now, of course, this is in between Christmas and New Year's, so there's not a lot of traffic right now. But during the morning commute, this would be jam-packed full of cars, stop and go, or even at a dead stop in some cases. But Metrolink has service. Their main hub is downtown Los Angeles, LA Union Station, where of course Amtrak comes in, and a lot of their LA City's metro. But they have multiple lines. They go up to Lancaster, they go out to Riverside, go down to Orange County, Anaheim, San Clemente, San Diego, and of course we're on the San Bernardino line, which goes all the way to San Bernardino. The Dirty Dino. I've also found it kind of interesting, the transition, just like the 60, 70-year history of Los Angeles. When LA was, in the 40s, 50s, 60s, LA had a lot of trains. They had streetcars traveling, LA Railway. They had, of course, the famous Pacific Electric, which is basically what Metrolink replaced eventually. Pacific Electric used to do this regional travel, LA to San Bernardino, LA to Anaheim, that kind of stuff, LA to San Pedro. Now, Metrolink's kind of done that, but what I found interesting is how the cars kind of took over everything, right? They built all the freeways, they dismantled all the trolleys, all the light rail. Amtrak was still there, but they took over, a number of railway companies that had passenger service, such as Union Pacific, Santa Fe, Southern Pacific. And now we're sitting here in 2022, and it's like we're going back in time again. And it's not a bad thing, don't get me wrong in the slightest. Obviously, the trains take a lot of people off the freeway. That way, when I'm driving down the freeway, there's less people to bring me traffic and everything else and other kind of woes. But I just always found it kind of interesting how they got rid of all the trolleys, Pacific Electric, everything else, and now we're kind of going back. You saw earlier in the video, the Gold Line is extending. It's kind of harking back to the Pacific Electric routes. They're building light rail again, out regionally, and it continues to expand. The Gold Line has plans, I've heard as far as San Bernardino and beyond. And they just completed a new train, light rail train system between San Bernardino and Redlands. That opened up this year. So we're going back to it. We'll talk more on the podcast about why that's good and why that's bad. Why maybe if you're coming to SoCal, why you shouldn't. Maybe not take the rail system, specifically with crime and vagrancy. But we'll talk a little bit more about that. This video is just to highlight and complement the podcast, as you guys know. So anyways, we're approaching Cal State Los Angeles, probably one of the coolest universities that has its own Metrolink train station. If you're coming to LA for school and you want immediate access to all of SoCal with your own train station, you might consider Cal State LA. Especially if you, like me, probably can't get into USC or UCLA. I like to think I'm kind of smart, but maybe not that smart, or don't have those connections. Anyways, let's see what, I'll show you Cal State LA in the next clip here. Alright, still traveling down the 10 freeway here. As you know, the 10 freeway is pretty famous. Goes from Florida to Santa Monica. Christopher Columbus Freeway, it's called.
Our next station stop is Cal State LA. If this is your destination, please watch your step and use handholds when moving through the train to the door. Cal State LA is our next stop.
I've been fortunate enough to travel the whole 10 freeway across the country in a little Prius C car, 2012 Prius C. That was a lot of fun. I can't wait to eventually retire and travel the country in an RV. I just love road trips. But here's Cal State LA Station. And up above that hill is Cal State Los Angeles. We'll be getting our first look of downtown LA in just a minute, but first, check this out. General Hospital. From the movie General Hospital. Well, the show. But also just a classic building here in LA. One of the first major hospitals in the entire region. Beautiful Art Deco architecture. And there's your first glimpse of downtown Los Angeles. We're now entering a choke point on the rails where multiple trains from multiple directions make their way into LA Union Station. We'll be crossing the LA River on a bridge, and from there arriving finally at LA Union Station. In the 80s and very early 90s, LA Union Station's fate was really kind of up in the air. Yes, it had some long distance Amtrak trains, but that was about it. Fortunately, when Metrolink came on scene, the station got major, well, it got used a lot more, and more people started coming to LA on the train. Same thing when the Surfliners arrived, and obviously Amtrak's always had their long distance trains, but the city of LA's built some metro trains, some light rail and subways, and now LA Union Station's a major hub once again. Like I said before, you know, from the 50s, 60s, we had that time of the car, and now we're kind of going back to trains again, which is good and bad. And obviously there's a major Union Pacific yard over here as well. Yeah, it looks like they're borrowing a Canadian Pacific diesel locomotive. So this whole area is just full of trains coming and going. It's got to be obviously watched by, you know, it's got to be directed and ensure that, you know, some trains aren't going the same direction and that everybody can get through. Alright, see you in downtown LA. We're crossing the LA River. This river is famous from a lot of movies you might have seen. Grease, for example. There's an old train control tower that's no longer used. A lot of LA city housing for, you know, very poor folks. I guess they call them the projects, at least in New York. To the left, I'm not going to really be able to see it, is Men's Central Jail for LA County Sheriff. But I'll let this roll as we roll into downtown LA. Some of you coming to visit LA may be taking the train into LA from Chicago or New Orleans, Texas, maybe up north, Washington, Seattle, Oregon. Honestly, that's the way to go if you have the time. If you don't, and you have to travel quickly, obviously aircraft is the way to go. Out in the distance there is Chinatown, just on the other side of that building. And there's downtown LA proper. Not as big as some downtown areas, like Dallas, Houston, New York, obviously, Chicago, but still.
Okay, folks, in just a moment, we will be arriving at Los Angeles Union Station. Yeah, this will be the final stop for train 321. Before leaving us, please be sure to gather all of your personal items. Also, please use the handrails and watch your step as you exit from the train.
There's the Metro Gold Line.
Transferring to the Antelope Valley Line train headed up to Lancaster. That train will be on track number 4. Thank you very much, drivers. Have a good everybody. Now arriving Los Angeles Union Station.
They're extending the Gold Line like you saw earlier from Pomona into Laverne and probably beyond. Between taking Metrorail and Metrolink, I would take Metrolink all day long. And I'll explain a little more why on the podcast. It's not just crime and vagrancy, but also just time. The light rail just takes eternity to get anywhere. And Metrolink's far more comfortable to ride on. But here we are, arriving at LA Union Station, where generations and generations of people have arrived coming to LA with hopes and dreams from all over the country, coming to the Golden State. You know, whether it was arriving on a Santa Fe train in the 50s, hopefully become a famous actor, or coming for work, coming for warmer weather, or just coming on a trip just to see, you know, like Al Capone once did before LAPD kicked him out. Here we are on track 6A at LA Union Station. Now we're about to explore downtown and all there is to do here. And while we're on the tracks here, I'm going to show you some of the other trains they have here and where they go. Here we are, downtown LA Union Station. We just got off the San Bernardino line. LAPD hard at work as always, and heavily understaffed, might I add. So, what we just rode, as you can see here, Metrolink. This is the regional commuter rail line for Southern California. It's been around since 92, 91. And these are the original cars for Metrolink right here. These Bombardier style, or rather that's the company, rail cars. The new cars are right here. And this is what Metrolink is replacing the old cars with. These newer, sleek, modern passenger cars. Also coming to the station is Amtrak Surfliner trains, which go up as far as Santa Barbara and far south as San Diego. You have the long distance trains, which go to Chicago, Seattle, and out towards Texas, Louisiana. Used to go to Florida, but I think they stop in Train 1. It stops in Louisiana now. But you'll see whatever form of transportation you're coming in on, you'll get off the train here and go down into a tunnel underneath the tracks. And that will take you to the west or east side of the train station, depending on what mode of transportation you're going from here, whether it's bus, light rail, Uber, taxi. In our case, we're going to be doing a lot of walking today. Metro Red Line, that'll take you all the way to North Hollywood. get off the train and there's any doubt where you're at, you need only look for the homeless and you'll know you're in LA. They're everywhere and they're no longer enforced. We're going to be seeing a lot of homeless today, so don't worry. Hopefully none attacks us. Anyways, I find out. Once you get to the end of the tunnel, you come out into this area, which has a number of shops, restaurants, ATMs, small liquor store, Starbucks, which is little Subways, a bunch of little restaurants and quick service dining. You also have Amtrak customer service and Metrolink customer service. If you're doing what I'm doing today, taking a large walking tour of downtown LA, make sure you use the restroom here, because restrooms are pretty hard to come by in downtown LA. So use the restroom and we'll head out into the terminal here, which is just a historical landmark if there ever was one. So this is kind of new. They're doing, looks like they're doing some photo displays, little display boards on things around the area, some history. They got it all decked out for Christmas. In order to keep vagrants off the seats and allow normal, is normal the right word? Allow passengers to use, they block off. And this is kind of new as well. There's little shops they've set up in here where you can buy LA souvenirs. One thing they opened up recently again, and I'm very happy about this, is the Trax restaurant. A historic Art Deco style restaurant that you can reserve and dine in. This whole station has a lot of history, and this restaurant is part of that. Now, you've probably seen this area in one of your favorite movies. One that comes to my mind right now is Pearl Harbor. This is the historic ticket reservation agent area where you come up and buy your tickets for your train trips. And just look at that, impeccable. A real piece of history that they keep, it's always roped off and always off limits. It's mostly just used for movies. And viewable by folks like me or you to come and see what it looked like back in the day. There's a bar here right by the entrance of LA Union Station. If you need a nice stiff drink before or after a long train journey, this is the place to go. Now we're headed outside. They've really refurbished LA Union Station. Like I said, back in the 80s, look at that classic Greyhound bus. So LA Union Station will drop you off on the northeast corner of downtown LA. From here you can go any number of directions or take any number of alternate transportation after the end of the line for your train. Any number of connections. We're going to be mostly going that way towards the skyscrapers and tall buildings. But first, let's go check out Olvera Street. Now you do need to be a little street smart here in downtown LA. The fact is, there's a lot of vagrancy here. A lot of mentally ill people on the street. Or people just frankly high on drugs. And crime in downtown is much higher than it is in other areas of Los Angeles. If you come during the end of a sporting event, or let's say some kind of political unrest, which happens every few years nowadays, definitely gonna be riots down here. Police facing off with rioters. So that's just the politics of it all. But the first place we're going to go to is Olvera Street and the El Pueblo Historical Monument, one of the oldest buildings in the entire county. So as explained, this is one of the oldest areas, inhabited areas in Los Angeles, at least as far as Europeans. And this tree has been here for a long time. How long? I have no idea. But it's one of the famous landmarks here on Olvera Street. This area is so old that it was originally given by the King of Spain to a rancher. 1781. So let's take a walk down Olvera Street, get some sights and sounds. Lots of tourists out here today. Kind of like me. I consider myself a tourist, even though I live here. I sure look like one. With my GoPro Hero 11 and my GoPro backpack, and my Oakleys, and my Skechers walking shoes. So down here, you're gonna find all kinds of Mexican-related items for sale. Some of them handmade. Everything from leather to traditional dress, sandals and snake boots, LA souvenirs. And unfortunately, cockfighting posters. And of course, who could forget the food?
I just put it there. Sorry.
Right here we have the oldest existing house in Los Angeles. The Villa Adobe. Built in 1818. Admission's free, so if you want to go in and explore a little, let's check it out. They've got an excellent museum and exhibit here. And outside the tall buildings, you really do feel like you're on an 1800s rancho. The thing this reminds me of most is a mission. If you've ever been to any of the missions we have here on the West Coast. Very similar, architectural wise. And obviously farming practices, and that makes sense. I love the grapes they have set up here. Hanging on the vines. Look at that. You would just come up here, grab your grapes. Let's go inside, shall we?
I don't mean now, I mean ever. Are you done?
Good morning, good morning. Very comfortable accommodations. Whoever lived here must have been fairly well to do. A kitchen. Oh, correct. So the owners of this house were originally the Villa family. They lived here from 1818 to the 1840s. It's like a living room style area. Piano, where they would entertain guests. Obviously very religious. Catholic. It's incredible how long this house has lasted here. And of course the bedroom. Really cool. The oldest house in LA, everyone. Imagine all the open lands back in 1818 around this building. And all the threats, animals or human-wise, that would have been a concern for people that lived in this building, in this ranch, or should I say rancho, in 1818. Now I can just walk out and call LAPD, and they'll come in about 18 hours. Right, once again, we're going backwards, aren't we? So let's finish our walk down Olvera Street. And we'll continue our tour of downtown LA. Look at this. Traditional Hispanic Mexican restaurant. Currently closed, otherwise I'd be tempted. This is the El Paseo Inn, established in 1930. Look at that. Yeah, you could travel 3 hours to Tijuana, or you could just come over here and get the same experience. What would your Mexican name be? Miriam? Monica? Pancho? That'd probably be mine. Pedro, Pepe, Olivia. It really does feel like a traditional Mexican market. It's pretty amazing. I wonder if you can do any haggling here. What the prices are set. You wouldn't know you were in downtown LA unless you got to the end of Olvera Street. Look at that traditional dress. A lot of this is absolutely imported from Mexico. Because remember, Mexico's only, what, 150 miles south of us? If that. Keep in mind as well, a lot of the vendors here only take cash. One of my first experiences of actually going to Mexico was coming back across the border, and as you're waiting in those long lines to get back across into the US, there's all kinds of vendors that are going car to car trying to sell items. And you know, most people don't buy anything. But one thing we did buy, and we're talking early 90s is when I went over there. One thing I did buy was a blanket. And we had that blanket forever. Just lasted a turn. It was like a woolen comforter blanket like this. I guess this isn't a comforter, but these things last forever if you buy one of these. Love the drainage system too. This whole place just feels like you are in a traditional Mexican village. It's amazing. Something you should check out if you come to downtown LA, or LA to begin with at all. These beautiful dresses. Absolutely beautiful. If you're looking for traditional Mexican shopping experience, There's no better place to come than right here. Lots of leather goods in there. Snow cones. All right, let's get to our next destination. Back in Union Station, our next destination is going to be Little Tokyo. Now, once you get off the train here, you can take the metro, subway, purple line, red line. Red line will take you as far as North Hollywood. But we're staying above ground. As you can see, the only people riding the metro largely are vagrants. We're going on the Gold Line. You used to have to walk to get to Little Tokyo, but about a decade ago, they built an extension of the Gold Line, which traditionally went towards Pasadena and out eastbound further towards Azusa. Now we can ride the Gold Line light rail, and that'll take us all the way to Little Tokyo, drop us off right across the street, and we can explore some Japanese culture now that we've got our fill of Mexican culture. So, left and right, these are all the trains, whether Amtrak or Metrolink. As you can see, it's the next station. We get on here at Union Station, and we take that to Little Tokyo, also known as John Aliso Street, across the 1st Street. So we're going to take the Gold Line down to Little Tokyo. First thing you're going to have to do is buy a tap card. That costs $2. And then here's your fares. One way, which is what I'm going to buy, $1.75. So total cost for me today, $3.75. If the screen is blank, just press any button and this will come up. English. We're going to buy a tap card. Metro one way, at least for me. And there it is, $3.75 into the LA City coffers. Credit card.
What floor do I get off on?
Enter your PIN. Processing transaction. Please wait. And there she is. Your own little souvenir, an LA tap card. Now, there it is, my one and only ride. Here's the LA Metro Gold Line. Now, I admit, I am not quite sure which direction this train is going, so this is going to Azusa. So we want to get on the other side. In general, for trains, they kind of follow the road traffic, so right side of the road is going that direction. Thirsty little bird. It's amazing how close you can get to the pigeons here before they get scared. They're so used to humans. Okay, we're waiting for one of the Gold Line light rails to take us to Little Tokyo. Mostly there's Metrolink here today. They're still running Surfliner trains, but they're limited due to the track work over by San Clemente Beach. So normally there'd be a ton more Surfliner trains. And if you come here early in the morning or in the afternoon, there'll be Amtrak long distance trains here, pulling in and loading people up for their journey across the US. But right now, just a lot of Metrolink on this holiday week. Now, I've come to visit Los Angeles. I do not recommend taking light rail, subway, anything LA Metro. That's just due to the rampant crime, intimidating people. Everything from murders, rapes, robberies have occurred on these trains, and they do daily, unfortunately. Crime occurs daily. You're not necessarily going to get murdered daily on the train, but a lot of vagrancy as well, as you can see. However, I definitely recommend the regional trains or long distance trains. Those are just fine, very safe. They cost enough to keep a lot of bad people off. Regularly patrolled by deputies. Usually have conductors on them. So, no, yes. No, yes. No, yes. No, yes. So why am I taking the Metro? Because I too like to live dangerously. No, I'm just being lazy. I don't want to walk. And I can defend myself, let's put it that way. Whoops, I just found out that there's actually no trains to Little Tokyo today due to track maintenance. So instead, let's walk through on our way to Little Tokyo, one of Los Angeles' many beautiful parks. And as you can see, as always, they're just filled with vagrants, sleeping, nowhere else to go, hopeless. Right in front of the Medal of Honor Memorial. Medal of Honor Memorial graffitied up, of course. Absolutely terrible. So yep, we're going to be walking our way to Little Tokyo. Yeah, about a 15-minute walk, not too bad. Something totally doable. And what used to be a nice, beautiful park that you know, you'd come and have a picnic in, or take your kids to run around, lose some energy. It's just largely filled with vagrancy now. Tents and mentally ill people, unfortunately. Those addicted to drugs. There's Olvera Street, and we're going to be walking down all the way to Little Tokyo. LA City Hall in the distance. Let's go. Here's what I'm going to presume is the LA Dispatcher Memorial. It's got a bunch of questions in here about what the dispatcher might ask you if you're reporting a crime. Unfortunately, it's been reduced to a toilet and heavily vandalized. by the good Angelinos of LA City. And all around, there's just different different police codes that LAPD uses. .920 missing, 991 assistance. 242 is the penal code for battery. Intoxication. Indecent exposure, 314. Like LAPD would respond to that anymore. 921 prowler. 484 theft. These are all penal codes in the California Penal Code. Screaming. That's certainly not a law. Stored into pieces. So very interesting. The LA Dispatcher Memorial. At least I'm going to assume that's what this is. Here's the entrance to Little Tokyo. But first, check this out. Tucked away in this little alley is a real, genuine Buddhist temple. Never been in it, but I like to think they got a courtyard in there. Now let's go walk through Little Tokyo Plaza. Welcome to Japanese Village Plaza, Little Tokyo, downtown LA. It is exceptionally busy here today. But that's okay, we're going to walk through anyways. I've been here many times, one of my favorite places in downtown LA. Our own little slice of Tokyo. There's just a ton of great, authentic Japanese eateries here. Shops selling Japanese merchandise or products. Everything from anime to 99-cent goods.
Jay, come here.
Lots of people blocking the walkways, so makes it hard to move.
I'm so full.
There we go. What store do you think is so popular that it requires a loan? Sanrio, of course.
I still get presents.
Look at how many people are trying to get in there. This place sells just a variety of home goods or Japanese themed items such as anime or Nintendo.
Un café.
Ayer vi yo en el avión.
There's even a Japanese grocery store selling really just products imported straight from Japan that you'd find in a normal grocery store in Japan. There's no shortage of places to eat here in Little Tokyo. But if you come on a busy day like today, expect waits to get into your favorite restaurant. Now, if you're an anime fan, you cannot miss out on this section of Little Tokyo, the Little Tokyo Mall. What used to be one store has basically taken over the entire mall. Now, Jungle has a ton of these little stores, and each one kind of caters to something different. This one, as you can see, kind of caters to some of those, what are those called? Pop? So this whole store sells a bunch of little different popped figurines. This is pretty much Japanese heaven in Los Angeles. Or I should say anime heaven. Are you a cosplayer? Well, they got you covered as well. Ton of different anime uniforms to wear. Place looks like it has a ton of Pokemon cards and video games. Everything from the original Nintendo on up. Stuff that's hard to find, Sega Genesis. If you're looking for a specific cartridge, you may find it here. At world8.com. Specifically world-8.com.
Oh.
We have over 10,000 anime items. This was the original store before they expanded out. They even have stores across the street now. So I'm going to go in. I don't think recording's permitted. And I'll see you on the outside. What used to be relegated to this plaza has now expanded across the street. So now Little Tokyo continues to expand, and as you can see, it's just immensely popular. One thing I've always wanted to do now is go to a revolving sushi bar. It's one of the few that's here in SoCal. And it's one I absolutely want to get into. Unfortunately, it looks like this is probably my 5th time trying to get in. And once again, I've chosen the wrong day because there's so many people here on this holiday week between Christmas and New Year's that when I signed in to see availability, there is an hour-and-a-half wait just to get in to try some sushi. So, I'm not sure if I'm going to make that. Once again, looks like I'm not going to get my sushi again today. Because I don't have an hour and a half to sit here and wait. Unfortunately, they do not take reservations. It's all first come, first serve, walk in. So, looks like I need to choose any weekday besides the one I decided to come down here on. I'll keep an eye on the, once I give them my phone number, it's going to give me an update on how much longer I have to wait. So if I don't go too far from here, I'll definitely get in there and get some footage and show you guys what the dining experience here is like. But I don't know what they need to do. They need to expand this this sushi bar to upstairs maybe. But yeah, hour and a half wait at 1:17 p.m. to get some sushi at a revolving sushi bar. So if you're coming down here, make sure you first thing you do when you get to Little Tokyo is sign in here if you want sushi, and then go explore the rest of the mall or across the streets as Little Tokyo continues to expand, as it should, because what used to be a really horrible part of town is really kind of turning gentrified, much nicer, safe, lots of tourists, security everywhere, police, just fantastic. Another market located nearby Japanese Village is Marukai Japanese Market. And I need a bottle of water. I am getting thirsty. One thing I used to always try to buy here was Aquarius, my favorite Japanese drink. Unfortunately, that's become almost impossible to find, even in Little Tokyo. But I'm gonna go in and look anyways to see what they have. If it's Japanese and grocery, you'll find it here. I really do feel like I'm in Japan somewhere shopping. It's amazing. Everything from ramen to soups, sake, all the famous Japanese drinks. I'm here for some water. Sushi. I am looking for Aquarius. Yakult. Some of you probably didn't know that was actually a Japanese company. I don't think they make Aquarius anymore. Holy smokes. I found it. It is a miracle. It's all I wanted for Christmas. So I'm running back to Kura Sushi, because although it said an hour and a half wait, they called me about 20 minutes later. So let's see if I can get in. Whew. I guess it helps to be a single person, huh? Maybe.
You're gonna try something different.
After you. A2?
Oh, okay. For Tim.
Yeah.
Okay, for Tim, you're gonna take either, do you want to take a seat on this side or do you want to take a seat over here on the left side? It's up to you.
I guess I'll take left side.
It's up to you, left or right?
I guess I'll take this side. That's fine right here. Thank you. Hey there. It sure is.
I'll show you how to get a plate right now.
Okay.
I'll just have you order it from that's how to do it.
Thank you.
Okay.
So we're going to order drinks from the top and choose our food. By itself?
Yeah.
Okay. And let the tray go.
So try not to touch the so we can prevent cross-contamination. And then this container's going to sit right here.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
all the greens are being found right here. I do have more food options on the top. I'm going to get what you want. But it's a basic and just show the image and the food is
you. I think I got it. Thank you.
Ordering here feels good.
Alright, so she explained. We don't want to be purely recording her. I just pick something I want by putting my fingers in there. The plate will open and it'll charge me. It'll know where I'm sitting. And I'll grab only the plate. Let's try it. Just like that. Now it knows I ordered this sushi. Start. Once I'm done, plate down that chute. And I'll keep dining until I'm full. And I only would order drinks, just use the touchpad. So let's dig in. Look at this. This is a robot that brings your drink to you. I just grabbed my drink. Thank you.
What? You can record this establishment, which is funny. What is this video for? We can make. Maybe we can't sing along. Copyright. Oh, they want to like scramble your nuts. Okay, objectively.
Here in downtown LA, this is LAPD headquarters. It used to be in Parker Center. Now they're located in this brand new building. Beside LAPD headquarters is the LA Times building, or what's left of it. The LA Times has famously moved to El Segundo, down south, just south of LAX. So many call them the El Segundo Times now, not the LA Times. And of course, City Hall. Home of progressive government everywhere. And on full display here for you. Here's LA City Hall, another shot. You may notice, or may have noticed, that LA City Hall is on the badge of every single LAPD officer. This is the one symbol they decided to put on every badge. But we're not going in City Hall. Not that we could anyways. We are going this way to Grand Central Park. A park that expands uphill and across several boulevards. Let's go take a look what's in here. Just like MacArthur Park and so many parks in LA, there's lots of places for kids to play, but no kids are playing. Parks are instead largely inhabited by vagrancy, unfortunately. Every time I come across one of these parks in LA or MacArthur Park or you name it, they're always empty. No parents are letting their kids play in here. Too afraid they're gonna stumble across a needle or accidentally walk through urine, or sad because the city spends a ton of money on these parks. So here we are on Spring Street, across from City Hall. It's like they're finishing up or setting up an event. We'll be crossing North Broadway to the Flag Garden, Community Terrace. There's a Metro Rail station. Crossing Hill Street to the Performance Lawn, Olive Court, Splash Pad, all the way up to Grand Avenue and the Walt Disney Music Hall. Let's check it out. The reason why there's so many LAPD helicopters circling today is because their headquarters for air support is right across the 101 freeway nearby here. So helicopters are going to come and go consistently in downtown LA as they make their way to call. LA has such a big, the city of LA has such a big helicopter fleet as far as policing goes, that there's always a helicopter in the air 24 hours a day, but usually multiples. So we're about 3/4 of the way up now. Couple safety tips if you're coming to downtown LA. During the day, it's pretty safe, particularly in the tourist areas, Little Tokyo, Chinatown, Grand Central Park, is mostly safe. But at nighttime, it's a completely different story. I would not come anywhere near downtown LA at night. Now, that's me. I don't try to put myself into situations that could result in any kind of violence either way. So that's always been my suggestion to you folks if you're coming to visit. Even during the day, be street smart. You know, common sense goes a long way as far as safety and everything else. So whew. So what I tend to do is keep an eye around me at all times. My back's always to the wall, usually. And if it's not, like it isn't right now, because I'm enjoying this beautiful fountain, then I have eyes in the back of my head. I'm always looking behind me, make sure no one's coming up on me. Vagrants, don't approach them. They come up to you, don't politely decline giving them money, because that's all they want. And most importantly of all, just your sixth sense. If something feels off or wrong, or something feels, I guess that's the best way to put it. If something feels off, or something's making you uncomfortable, trust your instincts. As human beings, we've evolved over tens of thousands of years with these instincts, and they're often correct. It's a survival instinct. So, if you're going down this street and something doesn't feel right, just assume it isn't and get to a safer place. Now, the park is filled with people during the day. I'd say 80% normal people walking through. And by normal people, I mean people that don't live on the streets. And 20% vagrants. So pretty safe. Cool place to visit if you want to see some stuff. But at night, No, it's a no-go zone. Take my advice or leave it. But that's where I stand on that. Anyways, we're almost to the top. Let's get to the Walt Disney Music Hall. I want to show you something cool there that you can do year-round. Here is the absolutely beautiful Walt Disney Concert Hall, home of the Los Angeles Philharmonic. An absolutely amazing orchestra. If you've never heard them, check out episodes 3 and 8 of the podcast, OneDayInSoCal.com, and you'll get to hear them as I heard them. And this is where we start to get into downtown LA proper, at least as far as tall buildings and skyscrapers. So you can't really go in unless you're attending a concert, but there is something you can do, and it's right around the corner. Let me show you. Okay, before I overpromise, let's see if it's even open. It is indeed. This is why I always say pre-plan, because I tend to be unlucky when I don't pre-plan. Things are closed or sold out. But this is open. This is directly behind the Walt Disney Concert Hall. And it's just a stunning, beautiful park for you to explore if you so desire. And a lot of people don't know about it. As such, it's often fairly empty and quiet, and a great place just to sit down and relax. Look at that architecture. It's like exploring in the future, huh? So coming here and not coming to a concert, but you still want to get a little up and close and personal with this amazing architecture, come around the back. Now, I will say, that sounds like some great birds, but that's definitely just audio from a speaker. Still sounds nice and adds to the atmosphere.
I mean, all buildings over 20 stories have to have helipads, and these ones that were built before 2016. That's why the newer buildings downtown are more.
What a view. Sadly, one place we're not going to get to today is the Broad. Just because of time restraints. They're closing in an hour and a half, but we have a few more things I got to get to in my exploration of downtown today. But if you're into modern art, I will post some videos from my last visit, which wasn't that long ago, and some of the amazing art displays they have on display. So, and I'll also, of course, have it pinned on the map onedayinsocal.com so you know where it's at. But first, let's check out the Angel Flight Railway.
Thank you. Hello, welcome.
Hello.
Oh, with the LA Metro card, you pay 50 cents cash. We do not have a reader.
Oh, I didn't know that. Can I pay with card then?
Yeah, but it's $1 minimum.
That's fine.
Should I try?
Since I'm unprepared here.
Well, you are supporting a very important historic landmark.
Fair enough. Consider it a donation then.
Number 4 on the list of Los Angeles historic landmarks, as nominated in 1962.
Interesting.
Okay, after the Pueblo de Los Angeles and a couple others.
Excellent.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Sorry.
There was a lot going on. The fact that I moved.
I told her this. That sounds like a rich white person. She's not actually. But it's also good wrong.
There is. I don't know it.
Minus the parking.
Yeah, and I think they wanted to extend it, but it just never got
Does it take place in LA or does it? Oh. Well, I got that line.
Yeah, you are right. It's literally at an end. Right. Yeah. Like the contract on my leg right now, I think it's there as well.
So Angel's Flight opened in 1901, and closed in the 60s, and about a decade ago they reopened it. And now it's a major tourist attraction. Often has pretty long lines to get on board. And you have to wait because seating is limited, obviously, in these small cars. But these beautiful trolleys, if they can be called that, shuttle people up and down between Spring and Grand, I believe it is. Two streets. And to be fair, it is kind of a steep hill to climb. You definitely get your exercise on this. But let's watch as this train makes its way up. Reminds me of the cable cars from Final Fantasy IX. Red light means they're about to go. And they separate in the middle. One goes left, one goes right. And they both use the middle rail, either car. Pretty neat. Only costs $1 to ride unless you have a tap card, and it's 50 cents. Nope, you can't use your tap card, you have to pay the $1. And if you pay a credit card, they're going to charge you an extra $1 for the fee. But still, something fun to do if you're in downtown. Now, conveniently located near Angel's Flight at the bottom is another downtown LA landmark, the Grand Central Market, an open-air market selling just about any kind of food you could think of. Beer, donuts, coffee, Chinese, barbecue, you name it. We'll walk around and get a little ambience of this place. Hopefully you've seen it on other YouTube videos or have been here, obviously. It's a great place to try just an amazing, dizzying amount of different foods. Really, honestly, anything you could think of. And it's not just relegated to markets. They also sell, as you can see here, spices or fruit or vegetables. They even got merchandise you can buy if you want to have a collectible. Plenty of seating downstairs, so I don't think this is the only seating. PBJLA. They make fried peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, tacos, Japanese cuisine. Like I said, here's some produce you can buy straight from the farm. I guess most produce is, usually. That horchata's looking good and calming, I'll tell you that. I'm gonna have to get some of that before I leave out of here. Pizza. Delis, oysters, I mean, quite literally, just about anything you could think of. A whole multicultural foods to make your taste buds go crazy here. Pasta, sandwiches, sausages, ramen. I mean, just a really cool place. Definitely a place you should consider if you're gonna come to downtown LA and looking for something lunch or dinner or breakfast, depending on what you're looking for. Grand Central Market will spill you out right onto historic Broadway, which is basically our, I don't know what I would call it. It's basically all the old buildings from the original downtown LA are here. And a lot of them are restored and just in complete original form. So definitely an amazing place. There's the Bradbury building, by the way. We'll see if that's open. We can take a little look in there because that's another amazing building you can actually go in. But here's Broadway Street. No Broadway shows, or at least not very many. A couple smaller theaters on the street, mostly just historic buildings. And if you love architecture, this is the place for you to go. But first, I'm going to look for that whole child. So here's the Bradbury building. One of the few historic buildings you can actually go in and walk around and explore and enjoy the architecture. 304 Broadway. National Historic Landmark. Oops, wrong door. Check this out. Absolutely amazing.
We'll Google it.
Look at those historic elevators.
This is one of the beautiful piers.
It's amazing. The architecture inside is just absolutely incredible. Imagine just walking in here in the 30s for your appointment with Dixon Hill Private Eye. I mean, just look at this. Look at the door, for heaven's sakes. The door. Something for you to do if you like architecture, especially. Okay, we're in the Old Bank District, and there is one location in particular that you may want to see in the Old Bank District. And it's our final stop in downtown LA for this trip in particular, and for episode 21 of the podcast, and my second vlog. And I think you're gonna like it. So let me show you. Alright guys, remember I said we're in the Old Bank District? Well, that's because we are at an old bank that has been converted into a bookstore. But not just any bookstore. The last bookstore. Sounds apocalyptic, huh?
Take it.
There's so many books here in the old bank. Let's start with the rare book annex. Some of the books are so rare and historic that they have to be locked up, like a museum. More rare than historic, it seems. Although these are some pretty rare books. This one's only $900. That might be something I'd be interested in. Art Deco. I love Art Deco architecture. There's also a hefty record collection here.
That's Nick Cave, yeah.
Jazz, classical, opera, hip-hop, soul, R&B, rock, TV soundtracks. It's all here. There's a cookbook for everyone. Elder Scrolls, Final Fantasy 14, Seinfeld, Star Trek, Dungeons and Dragons, Wonderland, the Wakanda cookbook, Harry Potter cookbook, Halo cookbook, Star Wars cookbook, Aliens cookbook, Pokemon cookbook. Oh come on, the Ninja Turtles pizza cookbook. There's even a Ghostbusters cookbook. Don't forget Fallout cookbook, Witcher cookbook. Cookbooks are back, baby. Here's a comic book section. Heading up to the second floor now. Something out of Harry Potter.
What do we make all those?
The interior design here is just absolutely incredible. This is like something you would find in Diagon Alley in Harry Potter. And that makes sense since it's all fantasy and science fiction. This is the bank's former vault. Now it holds a bunch of horror novels. Look at that. The Mossler Safe Company, Hamilton, Ohio. There's also a lot of mystery books in here. It's like mystery and horror books are in here. How cool is this to be in an old bank vault? And God knows how long ago.
But she almost got me killed.
The secret history poltergeist. Why are all these histories secret histories? You might want to go on.
Yeah, I think so. Because it's
There's a book
You gotta get to Hollywood.
tunnel. Well, I don't know who the artist is of this artist studio, but he must be an absolutely lovely person. Got a medicine Christmas tree with needles as a star. Will the disappointment never end? I saw this and thought of you. Got Mickey Mouse about to blow his brains out. I mean, must be just a great person. I need a cigarette. I'll be back in exactly 5 minutes. Thank you. Something tells me he's not going to be back in 5 minutes. This isn't even his art. That's a Nickelodeon TV show. It's part of Kablam. The last wall at the last bookstore. All the books that are on sale before they're thrown out or donated, I guess. Alright folks, it's gotten dark in downtown. I just exited the last bookstore. I'm on my way to LA Union Station to take Metrolink back to Rancho Cucamonga, the closest station to my house. Thanks for following me on this journey, and I'll see you in Vlog 3 and episode 21 of the One Day in SoCal podcast, downtown Los Angeles. Bye now.